What if I told you that the creation of the first human being wasn't just a beautiful moment of divine artistry, but the most controversial decision ever made in the heavens? That when God announced his plan to place Adam on earth, it triggered such concern among the angels that they actually dared to question the Almighty himself? Picture this. Beings who had never known anything but perfect obedience suddenly saying, "Are you sure about this?" And what happened next would expose hidden pride in the most unexpected places, challenge everything the angels thought they knew about wisdom, and set the stage for humanity's greatest test. Welcome back to Epic, Ummah, where we uncover the stories that shaped everything we know about faith. Now, if you watched our last episode, you witnessed one of the most heartbreaking falls in cosmic history, how Iblis, the most honored angel in creation, destroyed himself through pride and became humanity's eternal enemy. And if you missed that jaw-dropping story, just hit the I button up there. You'll want to see how the keeper of paradise became the prince of hell. But here's the thing about that story. We only saw one side of it. We watched Iblis's corruption, his arrogance, his spectacular downfall. But what about the other player in this cosmic drama? What about Adam, the clay figure that God commanded everyone to bow to? What was so special about this new creation that it triggered the greatest rebellion in heavenly history? Today, we're flipping the script. We're going behind the scenes of that same earth-shaking moment, but this time through Adam's eyes. We're diving into the miracle of his creation, that first breath of divine life, and the incredible moment when clay became consciousness. Because while Iblis was choosing pride and destruction, something beautiful was beginning, the story of humanity itself. Have you ever wondered why Allah would create beings capable of corruption when perfect angels already existed? Picture this scene in the heavens. Allah announces to his angels, "I am placing on earth a Khalifa." Now you'd expect immediate acceptance, right? But instead, and this is jaw-dropping, the angels actually questioned him. They said, "Will you place on it one who will cause corruption on it and shed blood, whereas we praise and sanctify you?" Can you imagine the audacity? These perfect beings who never disobey actually challenged their Creator's wisdom. But here's what they didn't know. Iblis was already among them, harboring secret pride and arrogance in his heart. The angels had no clue that corruption had already infiltrated their ranks. Now, Ibn Abbas tells us something fascinating. The angels weren't just making random assumptions. They'd actually witnessed the jinn before, who lived on earth and shed blood there, causing corruption and being disobedient to Allah. So when they heard about this new creation, they thought, won't these new beings behave just like the jinn did? But Allah's response? Simple yet profound. I know what you do not know. He wasn't just talking about humanity's potential for good. He was revealing that he already knew about Iblis's hidden rebellion. This whole creation of Adam wasn't just about populating Earth. It was about exposing the darkness that already existed in paradise. Sometimes, what looks like a risky decision from our limited perspective is actually divine wisdom, unveiling hidden truths. But Allah's plan was just beginning to unfold. What happens when even the mightiest angels can't complete a simple task? Now here's where it gets fascinating. When Allah decided to create Adam, he didn't just speak him into existence like other creations. He sent Jibril, to Earth to collect clay. Picture the most trusted angel descending to our planet on this divine mission. But then something beautiful happened. When Jibril reached down to take some soil, the earth itself cried out, "I take refuge in Allah against your taking something away from me and mutilating me." Jibril, being the compassionate angel he was, couldn't bring himself to take it against the earth's plea. He returned to Allah empty-handed, saying, "My Lord, the earth took refuge in you, and I granted it its wish." So Allah sent Mikael. Same thing happened. The earth pleaded, Mikael showed mercy, and he too returned without the clay. Then came the angel of death. When the earth made the same desperate plea, he said something that gives me chills. "I take refuge in Allah against returning without having executed his command." You see the difference? The angel of death understood that sometimes mercy means following Allah's command, even when it seems harsh. He gathered clay, not from one spot, but from everywhere. Red clay from the mountains, black clay from the valleys, white clay from the deserts, mixing it all together. And that's why, listen to this, We're told that the children of Adam came out different. We're literally made from the diversity of the earth itself. True obedience sometimes requires us to push through emotional resistance to fulfill Allah's greater plan. But the clay was just the beginning. What does it mean when Allah says He created Adam with His own hands? Here's something that'll blow your mind. Allah didn't delegate Adam's creation. The text specifically says God created Adam with His own hand. Not through angels, not through divine word alone, with His own hands. Why? Well, here's the wisdom behind it. Allah knew Iblis was going to be arrogant about this new creation. So He made Adam in such a special way that later, when Iblis refused to bow, Allah could say to him, "You are overbearing towards something I have made with my own hands, which I myself was not too haughty to make." Can you picture it? The creator of the universe, personally molding clay like a master sculptor. First, He moistened the earth's clay until it became what the Quran calls lazib, sticky clay. The word literally means something that adheres to something else, like when you're working with wet clay and it sticks to your fingers. Then, and this part always amazes me, He left it to ferment. For 40 days, some traditions say 40 years, this clay body just existed. It was transforming, changing from sticky clay to what's called masnoon slime, slime that had developed a smell, a character of its own. Finally, it became salsal, dry clay that makes sounds when you tap it, like pottery before it's fired. The most precious creations often require the most personal attention and the longest preparation time. But during this waiting period, something sinister was happening. What would you do if you discovered a mysterious figure that looked human, but was completely hollow inside? For 40 long days, Adam's body lay there, perfectly formed but lifeless. And Iblis? Oh, Iblis was obsessed. Day after day, he'd circle this clay figure, examining every detail with growing curiosity and something darker. Then, and this is where it gets eerie, Iblis started getting physical. He'd kick the body with his foot, and it would make these hollow sounds. Thud, thump, like tapping on an empty clay pot. The Quran calls this sound salsal, that resonating echo you get from hollow pottery. But here's the most disturbing part, and I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Iblis actually entered Adam's body. Ibn Abbas tells us he crawled in through the mouth and exited through the posterior, then reversed the path. Can you imagine? This demonic being slithering through the empty shell of our Father's body, like some kind of parasite. And while he's doing this grotesque exploration, he's muttering to himself. And these words chill me every time. You are not something for making sounds. What then were you created for? If I am given authority over you, I shall ruin you. And if you are given authority over me, I shall disobey you. Think about that. Iblis was planning Adam's destruction before Adam even had a soul. He was already strategizing humanity's downfall, while Adam was nothing but hollow clay. Then he turned to the other angels. Can you picture his smug expression? And said, "Don't be afraid of that one, for your Lord is solid, whereas this one is hollow." Evil often reveals its true intentions before we're even aware we're in danger. But Allah sees everything. But everything was about to change when the divine breath touched clay. What's the very first sound a human being ever made? This moment always gives me chills. After 40 days of waiting, Allah breathed His spirit into Adam. And here's something beautiful. It didn't happen all at once. The spirit entered through his head first, slowly animating each part of his body. The moment that divine breath touched Adam's nostrils, achoo! He sneezed. Can you imagine? The first human sound wasn't a cry of pain or confusion. It was a sneeze. And then, this is where I tear up every time, the angels, by divine inspiration, told him to say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Praise be to Allah, Lord of all the worlds. And Adam, with his very first conscious words, praised his creator. Allah immediately responded with such tenderness, "May your Lord show mercy unto you." But here's where Adam's humanity really shows. As the spirit continued moving down through his body, when it reached his eyes, He caught sight of the fruits of paradise. Gorgeous, perfect fruits hanging from celestial trees. His belly, now animated with divine spirit, rumbled with hunger. And get this, before the spirit even reached his feet, before he was fully complete, Adam tried to jump up and grab those fruits. He was so eager, so beautifully human in his impatience that he couldn't wait. The Quran comments on this moment. Man was created of haste, not as criticism, but as acknowledgement of our nature. We see something good, something beautiful, and we want it now. That's not a bug in our programming. That's a feature Allah designed into us. Our human eagerness for good things isn't a flaw. It's part of how Allah designed us to reach for paradise. But this moment of pure joy was about to become the ultimate test. How do you think the angels felt when they were commanded to bow down to this newborn human? Allah's command rang out clearly. When I have fashioned him and blown some of my spirit into him, fall down in prostration before him. Now picture this scene. Adam, barely minutes old, still learning to stand on his feet, and surrounding him thousands, maybe millions of magnificent angels. These beings of pure light, who'd been worshiping Allah since before time began, all receiving the same command: bow down to this clay-born human. One by one, every single angel prostrated. Can you imagine the sound? The rustling of countless wings as they folded, the whisper of celestial robes as they touched the ground. Row after row, as far as the eye could see, all these perfect beings bowing down in perfect unison. All except one. Iblis stood there, and the silence around him must have been deafening. While every other angel was face down in submission, he remained upright, defiant, proud. The contrast was staggering. Allah confronted him directly. Iblis, what prevented you from prostrating yourself before what I have created with my own hands? And Iblis's response? Pure, unadulterated arrogance. I am better than he. You created me from fire, and you created him from clay. Can you believe the audacity? He's actually arguing with Allah about the properties of his creation. In his twisted logic, fire was superior to clay, hotter, brighter, more pure. But what he didn't understand was that clay has something fire doesn't: humility. Clay accepts shape and form. Fire just burns and destroys. True nobility isn't about what we're made from, but about how we respond to Allah's commands. And that's when the hammer of divine justice fell. What does it sound like when the creator of the universe pronounces eternal judgment? The tension in paradise must have been suffocating. Every angel watching in stunned silence, Adam standing there in his innocent newness, and Iblis, still defiant, still convinced he was right. Allah's judgment was swift and absolute. Fall down from paradise. It is not yours to be overbearing in it. So leave. You are one of the mean beings. That word, mean, it's devastating in Arabic. It suggests something that's been stripped of all honor, all dignity, reduced to the lowest possible state. From the heights of angelic status to nothing. But Allah didn't stop there. The text says he bedeviled him, ablasa. Think about this. Iblis's very name became a verb meaning to eliminate hope, to drive someone to despair. His identity became synonymous with hopelessness itself. Can you picture Adam witnessing all this? This being who'd been examining his body for 40 days, who'd threatened to destroy him, was now being cast out in absolute disgrace. Talk about a lesson in divine justice happening right before his eyes. And even as he was being expelled, Iblis made one final bone-chilling threat. I shall certainly fill hell with you, and all those of them who follow you. He wasn't going down alone. He was declaring war on all of humanity. But here's what gets me. While Iblis was making threats about filling hell, Allah had just filled paradise with mercy for Adam. The contrast couldn't be starker. Pride doesn't just lead to our own destruction. It makes us want to drag others down with us. But in the aftermath of this cosmic drama, something beautiful happened. After witnessing rebellion and divine wrath, what were the first words exchanged between humanity and the angels? After all that drama, the rebellion, the expulsion, the threats, you'd expect fear, tension, maybe awkwardness between Adam and the angels who'd just prostrated to him. But Allah in his infinite wisdom did something beautiful. He told Adam, Go to that multitude of angels and say to them, "Peace be upon you." Picture Adam, still processing everything he just witnessed, probably still shaken by seeing such cosmic rebellion, walking up to these magnificent beings. His voice, maybe still trembling from the intensity of it all, spoke those words, "Assalamu alaykum." And the angels? Their response melted away any remaining tension. "Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah." And upon you be peace and the mercy of Allah. Can you feel the relief in that moment? After witnessing the horror of rebellion and banishment, here was peace, mercy, acceptance. The angels weren't resentful about bowing to Adam. They welcomed him with open hearts. When Adam returned to Allah, he received a promise that gives me goosebumps every time. This is your greeting and the greeting for your progeny to use among themselves. Subhanallah. Every single time we say, Assalamu alaykum to each other, we're continuing that very first exchange between Adam and the angels. We're speaking the language of peace that was established in paradise itself. Think about that the next time someone greets you with, Assalamu alaykum. You're not just saying hello, you're participating in a tradition that goes back to the very first human being, blessed by Allah Himself. The foundation of human interaction was built on peace and mercy. It's literally encoded in our spiritual DNA. And through it all, the angels finally understood what they hadn't seen before. Why did Allah allow this entire cosmic drama to unfold in front of everyone? Now here's where everything comes full circle, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. Remember way back at the beginning when the angels questioned Allah about creating Adam? They asked, "Will you place on earth one who will cause corruption and shed blood?" And Allah simply replied, "I know what you do not know." Well, now they knew. They had just witnessed the corruption that was already among them. Iblis's rebellion wasn't caused by Adam's creation. It was revealed by it. That test of prostrating to Adam was like a cosmic X-ray, exposing what had been hidden in Iblis's heart all along. The angels finally understood Allah's wisdom. He wasn't taking a risk by creating humanity. He was exposing a risk that already existed. Every single angel now realized that among them had been someone who was, as the text puts it, disobedient to Allah and opposed to His command. Can you imagine their shock? They thought they were all on the same page, all perfectly obedient. But Allah knew better. He knew that Iblis had been harboring haughtiness and self-importance, inspired by his soul all along. The creation of Adam wasn't the problem. It was the solution. It was the test that separated the truly obedient from the secretly rebellious. It revealed that questioning Allah's wisdom comes from limited understanding, while trusting His wisdom comes from perfect faith. And Adam? He got to witness this cosmic lesson in humility versus pride, obedience versus rebellion, right from his very first day of existence. What a way to begin human consciousness, seeing the consequences of both submission and arrogance played out on the ultimate stage. Allah's tests don't create problems. They reveal truths that need to be exposed for everyone's benefit. And that brings us to the eternal legacy of this moment. From the angels' initial questioning, to Iblis's dramatic fall, from Adam's first breath of praise, to humanity's first greeting of peace, this story reveals that Allah's wisdom always unfolds perfectly, even when we can't see it at first. The creation of Adam wasn't just about populating Earth. It was about exposing hidden corruption, establishing divine justice, and teaching us that true honor comes from submission to Allah, not from what we think makes us superior. If this story moved you like it moves me every time I reflect on it, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into our incredible Islamic heritage. Your like fuels our mission, your share spreads prophetic wisdom, and your subscribe builds a fortress for Islamic truth. And remember, every time you say Assalamu alaykum, you're continuing that beautiful tradition that started with Adam and the angels in paradise itself. Help us rebuild what the world tries to erase. Thanks for watching, and keep exploring. Until next time, Assalamu alaykum.